Go live, take two. Yes, take two. What's going on, y'all? Thank you for your patience. So today's video, I have two special friends from long time friendships. I have two special people that are going to share with you why it's important to dream big and to never stop dreaming big. Let's get it, Celia. Yes. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another live stream episode of FTIO, where we are all about inspiring change from the inside out. Yo, y'all. So thank you for being with us. I'm sorry about the mix up earlier. I was trying to sing, and you can see what happened, y'all. As I was trying to sing, the stream went crazy. You heard echo, and I think that was God saying, "Not right now, son. You are not a singer." So I was like, "Oh, cut that broadcast." So I started this new live stream, so I had to like resituate that. So again, we are here. If this is your first time rocking with me, thank you for being here. I'm here Monday through Friday. Currently, this is the quarantine series while I'm sheltered in place. Again, just trying to be with you every morning, right? Equal sacrifice, even though I'm not an essential worker and I'm not out there working like many of you are. I want to, start my day with you. So yeah, that's what this is all about here, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Facebook and YouTube Live Pacific Standard Time. So if you are joining us on the live stream or you're on the replay, do me a favor and just drop a comment and let us know where you are tuning in from. That'd be super exciting just to kind of like see who is all watching, who's with us. And if you are dropping it on the live stream, I'll go ahead and bring your comment onto the screen like this. We got Chavez. Hey, good morning. Good morning. Yes. And Chavez is coming out from Arizona. Thank you for calling in last Friday, by the way. Thank you for being on the stream. So yeah, today, y'all, I have two special guests that again I have known for a very, very long time, since elementary school. So when I think about this whole idea, the topic of this show, right, the inspiration of this show, dream big, and why you should never stop dreaming big, especially like, with this topic, I think of these two wonderful, powerful human beings. I'm going to go ahead and because we're from Vallejo, right? So I got to represent, got my North Vallejo tee on right here, or my North Vallejo hoodie on. So we're going to bring it in. I'm going to bring them in like this. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Yep. Come on. Come on. Yeah. So first I got Ana Farina. Yep. And I got Christine Lucero. Yeah. Yeah. Good morning. Yes. So again, two of my special friends, and if you saw my Instagram post yesterday, I did my first demo video back in 2014 when I decided to go full time into youth speaking, and they were the two testimonials that I posted yesterday back in 2014.
I can't believe that was so long ago.
That was so long ago, right? When I think about our journey, but like, first of all, like let's take it even back further than that. So in the caption, I was sharing with everyone, we go way back from elementary school. So Loma Vista, and I know Christine will talk about where you transferred to. Man, you transferred to us. You transferred from us back in elementary school. But before we go, like, what part of Vallejo? So let's just share real quick. So I grew up in Rancho. That's where I was from, Rancho. Even though I went to Loma Vista, right? Like I should have, damn many bears. I get it, y'all. Damn many folks. But no, I went to Loma Vista. I was an owl. Woo, woo. Right. So where I was in Rancho, and Steve, where are you from in Vallejo during elementary school days?
So I started out at Loma. But yeah, and I did. I was there, and that's where I met Ryan in the 3rd grade, Miss Lopatecki.
Oh, Miss Lovatekis class. Yes. And hold on, but real quick. So what part of Vallejo were you living in though? Just so for all of our Vallejo heads out there.
So like right off of Taper and McGrew, like in the Crest.
Like right near the
outside
Crest.
the Crest.
Yeah, right outside the Country Club Crest, right? So I think we
Yeah.
call that Cimarrons. Was that Cimarrons?
Kind of. Yeah.
Sorta, like in
Kinda.
between Cimarrons
I'm
and the
like in
Crest.
a gray area.
In that gray area.
In that gray area.
In that gray area. Yes.
So
And
my
how
homeschool was actually Wiedemann, so I ended up going to
Okay.
Wiedemann.
yes. Okay. But we met and I got a story though. I got a story I'm gonna share. And Anna, how about you? What part of Vallejo did you grow up in?
I grew up in two parts. The first one was literally like the Crest is divided by fairgrounds. I was just like right there. So my homeschool initially was Elsa Wiedemann, and I went there for a year, and then went to Loma Vista in third grade and stayed there when my family moved to Rancho, so right off of Meadows, Azalea Court.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's what's up. So, okay, so both of y'all actually went to Loma in third grade because I started in kindergarten and that's when, we all met. And so for those of you who are on the stream right now, just type in, if you're from Vallejo, just show some love. Doesn't matter, north, east, south, or west. You're from the 707, say it backwards. Type in the comments what part of Vallejo you grew up. Shout out your hood, your stomping ground. So, so here we are, right? I mean, 20 plus years later. And I remember, back to Loma Vista real quick though. I remember Christine, right? When I think about, so Christine, you're now an assistant principal at Green Valley Middle School.
Yes,
and
sir.
I know, and I'm gonna give you an opportunity just to kind of share a little bit about that in a minute. And then Anna, you are transitioning into the principal over at Jepson Middle in Vacaville. But just to think about education, right? Like it makes sense to me now because a story I remember when we were in elementary school. Okay, I don't know if you remember this thing, but because I said we go way back in elementary school. I remember when I was
Did
waiting
I have
for
a
my
perm or not?
Right.
You probably did. You was poofing it. You know what I'm saying? You
Christine was
poofing
looking like this.
Yes.
It was a
And
mess.
this is before like all the retainers and the braces and stuff, right? I think it was like the Karopi days. But I remember I was waiting at the top of the hill, right? The corner there, Corcoran and whatever that was to get ready for my ride. And you were still there. And I remember you coming, you were sitting there too. And I was like, hey, what are you doing? And you're like, homework. And I was like, man, homework on the corner. Like you literally had your books all set up on the street corner, like on the pavement. And in my mind, I'm like, hold up, like, aren't you gonna do homework at home? You're like, no, I got to get it done right away. And I was like, man, this girl's super smart. And then I was like, all right, so what are you doing? Do you remember what you were doing? Because I do, like clear as day. All right, so I remember you were doing long division. Right.
Okay.
And I was like,
you remember this?
and I was like, ooh, what's that? And all of a sudden, you started trying to teach me long division. Girl, you gave me a headache. Like, I was like, what is this girl doing? And then you were like, you do this, and you were like breaking it down, trying to teach me. Right. And I was like, not the business. Not the business. I remember that day so much. And I was like, this girl's gonna be smart. Like, I mean, this girl is smart, but she's like gonna do something big. And then what happened? You ended up leaving to Wiedemann to go to the gifted and talented education program. Nothing against Gate, right? Hey, it's all love. Right. And then fast forward, Solano Junior High, you're honor society president. Honor society. Right. So yeah, those are, I mean, just some memories. And Anna, real quick, I just wanted to share a couple of things. I remember because when I say like, oh, we go way back, I don't think people really understand like how way back we go. Right. And so in elementary school, one thing that I really admired you for. So two things, right, that I think about when I think about first thing that comes to mind when I think of you is number one, we had the same last name. So we kind of claimed each other, you know what I'm saying? Ramirez. I was like, yeah, that's my sister right there, but I don't speak Espanol. But, I remember, the way that you actually took care of your brother. Right, because your brother was, had special needs. And so the way that the compassion that you had for him and the way that you took care of him, like for me was so inspirational on just how to treat people. So I was like, besides her last name, there's like something super special about her. And then let's just fast forward. Okay. Vallejo High, Apaches, go fight, win. Miss Osorio's class. So let me tell y'all, for all of y'all viewing in, and before we do this, let's see, we got Ariel Avalo. Good morning. Thank you for being with us this morning.
Good morning.
Yes, we got Mia. Yo, good morning.
Hey,
Yes.
Mia.
My cousin Lazelle's here. Hey, what's up, cuz? right. Oh, she's representing Rancho. Yes, I remember that. I remember that Meadows on the corner when I used to go get dropped off at your house in the morning. I used to, well, that's another story. But yes. Oh, look at that. You're getting the shout outs early in the morning. The hot principals. Hold on, y'all. This ain't that kind of show, but no, they are definitely beautiful from the inside out. But so Anna, I remember I remember this Miss Osorio's class, like legit. So for those of you watching, we had Spanish 3 or Spanish 4 together, right? And until this day, like my Espanol is no bueno. But Anna had my back. Like she knew, like I was so willing. Like I just wanted to, like, be with everyone and try to be happy and be positive. But my Espanol was no bueno. So she legit would look over my work, take, she would tutor me in class. Like I remember there were times where, Miss Osorio, she used to speak to us in Spanish and we can only talk Spanish. And I remember just looking at you and you'd be like, and I'm like, and I would say the thing like you were like my Cyrano. You were my Cyrano. And I was like, and then you would like do the wink, like, I got you. And I'm like, familia. That's me, familia. Yeah. So yeah. So I just wanted to just, again, just to kind of preface this video today. And again, if you're finding value in this video, do me a favor, join the tribe and click subscribe on the link below. Because again, we're all about inspiring change. But those are just a couple, stories that I remember. There's so much more that we can talk about, but I know that you have principal-like duties this morning. And I'm definitely gonna honor your time. So before we get going into that, again, thank you for being with us. Let's go ahead and just do, if we want to do a quick introduction for all of our viewers. And before, Christine, that's who it is.
Hey, Auntie.
Auntie Ria. Mom, don't worry, Mom. I already told her what you told me. Okay, so just stay tuned. You got to watch the whole episode to see the announcements.
All your answers. All your answers.
All right, so let's start with Christine, who is the assistant principal now at the middle school that my sister attends. Yeah, so
Hey, Sasha.
let's go ahead and let's give it up for Christine. If you want to just share a little bit about yourself, Steve.
I feel like you've said it all already, Ryan, but good morning, everyone. My name is Christine, and I am currently the assistant principal at Green Valley Middle School in Fairfield. I've been there now for 5 years. Before that, I was a high school AP in Vallejo, actually, at Jesse Bethel, and that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that thoroughly. But I started out in education as a teacher, teaching high school history at Vallejo High, room 51 in the C building. Hey now.
Absolutely. Thank you. And then let's go ahead and we will bring Anna onto the stream.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. I am Ana Farina, used to be Ramirez. I am currently the assistant principal at Jepson Middle School in Vacaville, where I am currently transitioning to be the principal for next school year. But before that, I taught at 2 high schools. I taught history and psychology at Vacaville High and at Fairfield High. So in total, I've been in education going on 15 years. Crazy. Yeah. But it's been really fun.
Absolutely. Yeah. And oh, look at that.
Ooh,
I like with the background. And yeah, and so again, one thing that really inspires me about you both is again, for those of you just tuning in, right? Like we started in elementary school, and if you would have told us back then while we were playing Foursquare and I was cheating on the game and Anna was being honest and Christine was looking at other people, right? If we would have like told those little elementary schoolers to the Solano Chieftains, you know what I'm saying? We had like so many memories. And then again, y'all didn't even mention that y'all did cheerleading. Come on, cheerleaders, right? And just so many good memories. Like if you would have told those students back in the honor society, doing cheer, back, at that 3rd grade when we all connected, and then Christine left us because she was a gay person. Like, if you would have told us that we would be doing the things that we're doing today, like, it might have been something like, I don't think so. So for our viewers, again, thank you for joining us. Let me bring a couple more comments on. And if you have any questions for any of our staff, and please keep the questions just about getting to know us. Okay, this isn't an admin call. This isn't an official, Fairfield Unified School District or Vacaville thing. So
Right.
if you have any of those
We
kinds of
cannot
questions,
approve inter-district transfers.
Yes,
Sorry.
Right, guys.
this is not that time. And trust me, my mom tried, right? My mom was like, oh no. Let's see. Oh, my boy Stephen Aguino from the Bronx in the building. What's up, Steve?
Good morning.
Thank you for joining. Esther, the birthday girl, Esther, coming from Dixon. Happy birthday, Esther. Jessica La, good morning. She's also out here in Vacaville. Let's see. Mia says Solano Junior High 96. Yeah.
Yep.
Woo. And yes, I do agree, Mia. Some great memories in Vallejo. Let's see, Vanessa, good morning. She's fellow educators.
Vanessa.
Thank you for all you do. So how do y'all know Vanessa?
Vanessa worked at Bethel. We crossed paths briefly.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So her and I used to be workout partners every now and then at 5 a.m. in Vacaville. And I'm gonna tell you maybe one word, two words put together, right? See, don't try to correct me, teachers, but beast mode. Like when I think about Vanessa, straight up beast
For sure.
mode. So so again, for those of you joining in, this is just all about, again, inspiring change. So I'm curious to know if we can just share with our viewers out there, like here's my first question for our live stream. Because again, the title is Dream Big, right? And never stop dreaming big. And so let's start with this question. Who or what or who inspired you to get into the field of education?
That's a good one.
It is. Do you want to go first?
Sure.
On.
I know. And it's funny because, Ryan, just like you said, I think for me, at least, going into education was nothing I really had thought about growing up and even going to college. So fun fact, Anna and I went to college together down in San Diego at UCSD.
We did. Go Triton.
There you go.
And, going into college, majoring in political science, I did not do that thinking that I'd go into education. All throughout college, actually, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I thought maybe I wanted to go to law school. So even by the time I graduated from college, it was kind of like, okay, what do I want to do? And lots of things, a lot of growth happened in college, a lot of learning. And I think there was just so much more out there that I didn't know about. And I kind of just fell into education. It made sense to me. Teaching, helping other people, just being really community minded was really what I grew into in college. And being away from home, I think actually really helped shape that idea of wanting to give back to the community and wanting to come home. And who actually inspired that, really, when I think back about my time in college and being away, I remember, my younger brother was still in Vallejo, going to Vallejo High. And, my parents did the best they could, everything they knew how to do. But he kind of struggled a little bit. He needed some help. He needed an advocate, somebody to come in and say, no, you got to take these classes, or no, let's go. And he was supposed to go to Bethel, but I said, no, you got to go to Vallejo High because Vallejo High. So I actually helped walk him and my parents through that transfer process called Mr. Soroyan. And I was like, yo, can my brother come to Vallejo High? Well, I don't want him to go to Bethel.
Yeah.
And so really, I kind of looked at what was happening with my brother, and he actually really inspired me to get into education and teaching, because I felt like he, along with lots of other kids, needed an advocate. They needed somebody who knew what was up, and they needed just somebody to help fight for them. And that's kind of what brought me into education.
Beautiful. And shout out real quick to Mr. Soroyan, who was also our principal at Solano Middle, right? And then he became the principal at Vallejo High. So I love hearing that, right? Like your younger brother, right? He was the one who kind of inspired you to be in education. And I think in a sense, I can connect with that, right? My little sister, she goes to your school right now. And as you know, I didn't do the best in my beginning years of college, right? But now I dropped back in. So one of my goals that I kind of tell people is I just need to get my degree before she does.
There you go.
So in a sense, right, my sister is motivating me to just, make sure that, I walk the line in college before she does. So, but no, that's a beautiful story. and yeah, just that advocacy. I think it's really important that we're represented and that we're representing for all the voices out there. And before we move on to Anna sharing, and for as you can see, y'all, we have a lot of Vallejo High pride up in this piece. All right, so class of 1999, but nothing against Jesse Bethel or all y'all Hogan
Nothing at all.
Spartans.
No,
Vallejo
nothing.
Unified, all of, but just know, like, this crew right here is again from Loma to Solano to Vallejo High, but it's all, Vallejo, it's all love. And again, it's just all about inspiration. So just so that if I got any Bethel or Spartans out there, they ain't trying to like hate on the podcast.
Not at all. Not at all.
All right, go ahead, Anna.
So what or who inspired me? Like Christine, I went to San Diego not really knowing. I had an idea. At first, I was a comm major and I was going to work for Univision and like get down with my Latino community. But I did not like communication classes at all. And I kind of just played around a little bit until I found that I really enjoyed taking history, sociology, and ethnic studies classes. It was one of the first times that I was able to learn history about my community, like my people, like basically disenfranchised people of the world. I was able to know the history and stories behind that and know like my country and know about how my country interacted with others. And I was fascinated. It was one of the first times. And so I quickly became a history major. And you would think like history major, history teacher, but that had actually not crossed my mind at all. I was going to go to law school because I decided I wanted to work in immigration law and help my community a little bit in that respect. And so everything was directed toward that. When I was in college and away from Vallejo, like Christine, it opens up your eyes a lot to how I grew up. Vallejo is an extremely diverse community that now as an adult, I can appreciate how I grew up and who was around me. And UC San Diego was very culture shock for me. It was like, oh my gosh, when you kind of look around and like, I think I'm the only brown person here. And so at UCSD, I joined a Latina sorority, which gave me a home away from home. We were all on financial aid. We were all taking out loans to pay for our school. And so it was a really nice experience. And one day, one of them was like, hey, let's take this class. It was our 4th year of college and getting ready to graduate. And it was called like mentoring through the School of Education. And I was able to mentor elementary kids in Chula Vista, San Diego area at Olivewood Elementary. And I really liked it a lot. I got to hang out with 2 6th graders and I realized I have this little knack for just playing with the kids and being able to kind of share my knowledge with them. And had a little mini breakdown that 3rd quarter of my senior year because I was going to legit switch everything. I had taken the LSATs, I had applied to law school, and I deferred law school at USF and instead switched everything to the School of Education at USF. And it was everything. So I definitely attribute the who and the what to a lot of my sorority sisters and those 2 little girls at Olivewood Elementary because it kind of solidified what I wanted to do in my career. And when I was student teaching at Mission High School in San Francisco, at the heart, right next to Dolores Park, my cousins actually went to that school. I was like, oh yeah, high school is going to be where I'm going to be. And, it was funny. I reached out to Mr. Soroyan when I finished with my student teaching and everything, and I was ready to go. And at that time, he didn't have a position for me, but Fairfield High did. And I was able to be there, and Fairfield High reminded me a lot of Vallejo High. It was everything. Those kids were my kids, and it was such a good experience in my little G4 classroom. And Vaca High kind of also solidified a different aspect for me. It was serving a different community where all of a sudden the Latino population jumped up to like 40%. And so I would say what continues to inspire me are the kids. I think for me, it's important that they see somebody that looks like them in positions of power. And I think representation matters. And the fact that the first time I saw Coco, I cried because I have never seen something like that before. It was like a whole family adventure. I had my mom, dad, everybody was there. And so I think, if not me, who, and if not now, when. And so that is why I decided to be the principal of Jepson. I even texted Christine and I was like, I don't know what to do.
I was like, you gotta go. You're ready. You're ready. You can do it.
Yes, and I love this, right? So before we move on with continue with this question for Christine, I just want to just highlight one thing that you both said. You both went to UCSD and you detached yourself from your current community, from your comfort zone, and you got uncomfortable. And I think that's something that really to highlight. And just for those of you watching right now and you're worried about leaving home or taking this next step into college or to school or a career, like it's sometimes detaching yourself from what's comfortable is what helps you find yourself even more. And a quick story, just because it's bringing up so much for me. Christine, you remember that time we went to Diego?
Yes.
So when Christine went to UC San Diego, me, Will Vallejos, Marvin Morales, and Robert Vallejos, we all jumped in a Civic or a Accord or Civic, a Honda, and we wanted to go down there and support you because we were like, man, she's out there and we got a spot, and we've never really been down to SoCal. And so we were like, hey, let's go there, show you support. Like, we didn't know what we were doing, but you introduced us to our first Brazilian barbecue. And we got to see what like college life was like, what it was to be away from home. Right. And again, it was just that we just wanted to be there to support you, Lisa, and everyone else that was down there with y'all. But I think that's really important to highlight there, is that sometimes taking yourself away and removing yourself from certain comforts is what's going to allow you to even grow. And then the second piece I share, or I'm tuning in on is the decision, right? Like Anna was like, oh, wait a minute, like, okay, I'm exposed and I'm experiencing different things. And I thought I wanted to do law, but now like my heart is here. And that actually shifted, and you made that decision to pass up law school. All right. So if you're listening right now, y'all, like these are huge decisions, leaving home, passing up law school. And again, right. It's about truly, being inspired, like and now look at your life now. Both of your lives are super inspiring to me and those watching and your students. I'm pretty sure there's so much. And I think, Anna, one thing I wanted to highlight too, is I remember when I think of you and Fairfield High, the biggest highlighter thing that I remember is AVID. And I remember you were sharing with me the AVID program, what it was about, because I was asking for my daughter, like, what's this all about? And when you broke down what AVID was, now it makes sense, right, to see kind of where your passion was for that program. So if you're an AVID student or you're a parent of an AVID student that had Mrs. Ramirez, now Mrs. Farina, drop a, all in AVID. Go, Anna, right? If you are also, a student or past student of Mrs. Lucero, shout her out as well. And I love, Christine, how you said you came back and you started at Vallejo High, right? Back to the grassroots. And again, and now it's progressing. So yeah. So Christine, what continues to inspire you?
I think it's a lot of the same. Kids are kids, no matter where you are, no matter where you go, there's always going to be a need. And I think that I've worked in a lot of different kinds of schools now at this point. From Vallejo, I did a year in Antioch, and now working at Green Valley Middle. I've seen kind of a range of need and a range of students and communities. But the kids are always kids, no matter what, and they just need somebody, regardless, to be in their corner, to fight for them. And I think that that's really a position that I've taken on as I've left the classroom and gone into administration, that I really feel like, okay, now me as an assistant principal, in the classroom, you have maybe 170-ish students that you see every day. Where Anna and I are at now as principals, like we have an entire school. So for me at Green Valley Middle, for example, we have close to 900 kids. And every single one of those kids, I want them to know that I got your back. Like, I am here for you. Whatever it is that you need, I will fight for you. We're going to figure this out. We're going to do it together. And I will always be in your corner. And I think that that's what kind of keeps me going in education, is that kids just need to know that somebody has their back. And I want to be that person for whatever kids come across, my space.
Absolutely. No, that's beautiful. Again, just representing, being the advocate. And it's crazy, right? Like how all three of us are working in schools. I mean, I'm not on the teacher side of it. I'm in a different space, but it's, in social emotional learning, or even the workshops that I do, even working with, teachers and parents, right? It's this idea that I want to be able to help, our students get in a space, emotionally, so that they can be prepared for what the teachers have to offer and what the school has to offer. So like, man, this is crazy. I'm the assembly guy, right? At the schools you are at. And again, it's all relevant, it's all important, it's all advocacy. Again, just hearing them for who they are and what they're doing. So last two pieces before we get going. And if and I know Christine, you had mentioned like you might be in a space that, might be a little noisy. So if you want to bring the little ones on, like, yeah, it's all good. Um, let's do this. So yeah, so why is it important to, so two things when we can do this in the same sharing. So why is it important to dream big and keep dreaming big? And then what words of encouragement do you have for your students and all students out there right now? Because again, we know we're all going through the whole COVID-19. I didn't want this to be about how are you distance learning and how are you distance teaching. Like we're beyond that. This is
Right.
going to be for the COVID-19 and post. So when you're watching this 10, 20, 30 years from now, you're like, man, I remember that. But what words of encouragement do you have for young people today? Why should they keep dreaming big? Because I say keep dreaming big because I know when we're younger, you have big dreams, and then like reality hits in, or not even reality, but life just, tells you otherwise, or other people tell you otherwise. And so sometimes that dream goes away. But when I see you both, it's like, all right, you're still dreaming, and I'm pretty sure there's still more that you want to accomplish in your career. So why dream big? Why keep dreaming big? And then what words do you have of encouragement do you have for your students and for students alike?
Ooh, okay. Let me try this one. So why dream big? I would say, I consider myself a lifelong learner. And the minute I think I know it all is the minute I've lost in this game called life. I think to be a self-actualized person, you have to continue to set goals for yourself and strive for the very best that you can give. I think it's so important to do that from a young age all the way into adulthood. I got dreams of places I want to go, people I want to meet, things I want to do. And also education wise, I don't think I'm done with my own education. And I think that it's really important for us to continue to strive to be better people because the world needs it right now.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I think, Anna, just like you said, so much of education is about helping to raise, right? Just this next generation, every new generation of kids to go out into the world and to be good people, to do good, wonderful, amazing things. And in order for kids and people to do that, you got to have dreams. You got to have a vision of what you want to do. And, the idea of like dreaming big doesn't mean like, oh, I got to make $1 million, or, oh, I got to, do something like crazy. Dreaming big is as much as saying, I want to be a teacher. I want to graduate from college. I want to, do something. Having a goal and working towards it, I think, whatever your dream is, it's big. It doesn't have to be some crazy, idea that's far-fetched. And I think that, it's about setting goals, like Anna said, and just about working hard. And I think, understanding that you can do it. It might not be the easiest. It might not go super fast. But you just got to keep working, and you got to stay true to what you believe in and what you want, and know that. I think that's one of the biggest things.
Yes. And as we get ready to wrap up, shout outs.
Let me give a quick shout out to Auntie real quick.
Mom, if you're still there.
Auntie, check your email. We got lots of things happening for the 8th graders.
Yes.
I'll send you an email personally.
There you go. How about you, Ann? Any shout outs you want to give out? Staff, school, students?
So here's a crazy story. One of my favorite teachers of all time at Vallejo High was Miss Peggy Delgado. Ooh. And that was my girl. I had her for 3 years. And here's how small the world is. I now work with her son at Jepson Middle School.
That's awesome.
Same little boy that I threw in a pool when he was like 4 or 5. He's now one of my staff at Jepson. So shout out to the Delgados for being awesome with us.
Yes.
Shout out to Miss Osorio for teaching Ryan some Spanish.
Right?
Man, I'll tell you what, that was a
Oh,
struggle.
man.
My last name did not help me out there. Speaking of shout out, that's like a teacher too. So you got I'm gonna shout out Mr. Wright. I
Yes.
definitely want to shout out for
yeah.
Mr. Wright.
So
Yep.
Because we had him again in
Inspiring
Solano
teachers.
and in Vallejo.
Mhm.
And for those of you who had Mr. Wright, you know my man always had the same blue shirt on in rotation. The same one. And what I loved about Mr. Wright was that, one thing that I take from him now and learning from him as I get older is like he was just always himself.
Mhm.
He was 100% authentic. Like he danced to his own music and like he was so, and he was just really deep with you. Like, I don't know, there's something about Mr. Wright. Again, that I always remember just who he was and how he was always just himself. And that's something that I always learned to just, no matter what people are saying, no matter what people are doing, like I remember one time we watched a movie, it was in Vallejo High, and man just started bawling during the movie. I was like, this dude's really crying. Like,
Feeling it.
but he was being himself. So shout out to Mr. Wright. Yes.
Yep.
Any last words or shout outs before we get going, y'all?
I would just say hang in there, everyone.
Yeah.
This too is going to pass, and just hang in there, and we'll take care of your kids when we get them again.
Exactly.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So on behalf of myself, all the parents, all the educators, I just want to say thank you for all that you both do. Super inspiring. And again, this is only the beginning, right? Every time I see you both, I'm like, we're just getting started. And it's so true because there's always going to be something else because we never stop dreaming. We got to keep dreaming big. So again, thank you for taking the time to check this video out. If you found any value in today's video, do me a favor and consider joining the tribe and clicking subscribe on the link below. Again, this is the quarantine series. Right now, it's Monday through Friday. I think it's going to start shifting a little bit. So staying connected with me through YouTube will be one of the ways so you can get all the announcements. And with that, y'all, of course, in true Vallejo fashion. And we are out of here. Have a great Tuesday. Have a great week. And we're leaving like this, y'all. Seriously.